and start. We'll stay, I'm gonna stay cross-legged. And if cross-legged is not an option for you, or let's just try it. Stay cross-legged and get yourself a pillow or a block and lift yourself up a little bit. It's gonna ease some tension out of your hip flexors, ease some tension out of your lower back, your knees, see if that's available to you. I'm gonna keep my block out, but let's start cross-legged. If not, find wherever you need to be comfortable. We're gonna keep our hands on our knees, and we're going to start just kind of working through our spine, right? Moving it, waking it up, getting it feeling a little juicy. So we're gonna push our chest forward, this energetic cow position. You'll see cat and cow a lot, and this is like kind of a modified cat and cow. So and then arching back and pulling forward. So we exhale on the back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And then let's round forward in big circles. All the way back, all the way forward. Try to keep your hips kind of on the mat, right? So we're not getting all wibbly wobbly. Our butts are rooted, and we're finding some loosening in the tensions in our back and in our body, in our shoulders, chest, wherever it's finding it. Do like 5 to 10 each direction. So I'm gonna pause, start back the other direction. Back to center. Let's take our hands behind our heads, and we're gonna nod down, letting our head relax. And I'm not pulling with my hands, I'm just letting it all hang heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Get some opening up on our spine. You might be feeling this all the way up in your head and down into your sacrum. And then come back up, heads up high, elbows are kind of pulling back, which brings our shoulder blades back and down, excuse me. Let's bring our shoulders down at the same time, right? So we don't have this lifty bit, that's unpleasant. Bring our shoulders down, elbows back, activates our back, and then bring our hands back behind us, reaching for the mats, and opening our chest up. So we're gonna open up, let our head fall back. Take a nice deep breath here. Good. And then come back up. Hands come behind the head, shoulders are down, elbows kind of come forward, and we just let it be heavy and kind of curl in on ourselves. Breathe through the discomfort. Unravel, come all the way up. Hands come back behind us, arching back. Chest up, head heavy, breathing through it. Come back up. One more time. Hands come behind our head. We're gonna curl in on ourselves. And then up. Hands come out, behind us. Good. And back up. Let's walk our hands out. So we're gonna take our right hand or left hand, whichever, walk it out, and then let our neck fall, our head fall to the other side, stretching out the side of our neck, whatever side our hand is stretched out on. I'm taking my hand and just giving a little extra pull on my head. Come back up, walk our fingers out on the other side, grab our head, and just take a nice pull. If it doesn't feel good, which this side doesn't feel as good to me, I've had some tension in my neck lately. Just do only what feels right. Come back up. Cool. Let's plant our hands, unravel our feet, and we're gonna be in this kind of tabletop position. Go ahead and curl your toes under. Notice your your back. So it's straight in alignment. You're not slouchy like this, not yet. And sometimes we do that. But it's nice and engaged, our tummy's engaged, our back is straight in alignment, right? And then let's do some kind of rolling around on our wrists, keeping our arms straight. We're getting some movement in our shoulders, getting some movement in our wrists, and it's controlled, which actually takes some integration in our legs. Reverse the direction. Good. Come back to center. Rotate our palms. See if that's okay with you. If it's not, you could have left them the same. And honestly, if this wasn't good, you can also go to knuckles, whatever you need to do. But we're gonna have our fingertips pointing towards our knees and do the same thing. Just rolling through, getting those forearms really stretched out, and wrists. Rotate directions, do a few on each side. Good. I'm gonna bring my fingers back forward. I'm gonna walk them forward about 5 inches. And then I'm gonna push, lift my butt, lift my knees, push my butt up in the air, and go into what is a downward dog. We'll be here a lot. If you haven't done yoga before, it's gonna feel pretty demanding on your shoulders. All good, just keep trying it as much as you can and know that it'll become a lot easier. This will actually become a resting position for you at some point. And it doesn't take that long, maybe a month or so. Good. So we're in downward dog. When we're in downward dog, we're trying to send our heels towards the mat. Mine are not touching. Yours are probably not touching. That is fine. And when we first come into it, it's a pretty tight position. You feel a lot of tension in the back of your legs or in your back. So we'll often take a little bend in the knees. Go ahead and do that. And then we're gonna take extra bend in one, straighten out the other, and pedal left and right. Getting some stretch in your Achilles, your calves, your toes, your feet, pedaling through it. Make sure you're breathing. You're pushing off through your forefinger and your thumb and your palms. Good. We're gonna take a bend in both of our knees this time. Keep pushing our butt up into the air. Get a little extra stretch in our shoulders. Good, and then we're gonna come forward into a bit of a plank. We'll drop our knees, undo our toes, and lower down nice and slow, nice and easy, all the way down. Good. Keeping our hands underneath our shoulders, we're gonna pull up. So we're not pushing, we're using our palms to kind of pull like this, as if we're gonna pull ourselves forward. We're not moving, it's just an energetic movement. So keeping our hands here, we're pulling forward, lifting our chest, and actually lifting with our back muscles such that we could take our hands off, right? This is pulling us forward, giving us a little extra space in our vertebrae, but it's not lifting us up off the mats. Our back muscles are lifting us off the mats. And then we come back down. Leaving our knees on the mat, we're gonna push up, push back to downward dog. Let's take our right leg, lift it up behind us, like it's standing on the wall behind you or whatever's behind you. And then we're gonna step it forward between our hands. If it doesn't make it there all the way on its own, just grab it and pull it up. This is a low lunge, it's activated, it's not resting. So I don't have this hanging or this hip hanging. We are lifting with our back leg, with our glute and our quad. We're sending our heel back. Our hips are squared to the mat. We're nice and aligned. Good. Sometimes it takes a minute for everything to relax, especially when it's early in the morning and you're just starting your day off. And we're gonna Straighten it out just a little bit, and then come back down into a bent knee. Straighten it out a little bit, back into a bent knee. Good. One more time. Straighten it out, back knee. Let's take our left leg, bend it just a little so you can push off, step forward, front of the mat, forward fold. So take a little bend in your knees. It can be a lot of bend in your knees. You can be so bent that your tummy and your chest are resting on your quads. That is fine. In fact, sometimes we do that very deliberately. So if you happen to be incredibly bendy, you can straighten your legs out and forward fold. My body's not ready for that. I need a bend. We're gonna hang heavy, let our head hang, let our arms hang. You can grab opposite elbows. Gives, to me, it's a nice extra little pull on your spine. I really enjoy it. And then we're gonna swing around left and right. You can walk your hands left and right, wherever your arms are. Good. Now let's take our right leg, step it all the way back. And then we're gonna take our left foot and step it all the way back. Downward dog. Pedaling our heels, getting that nice and loosened up. Trying to keep moving a little bit so our body doesn't start tightening up and getting tired. Great, now both of our feet, our legs are straight, our heels are sending downward. We're gonna shift forward into a plank. Bring our knees down. You can let your toes go if you want. Lower down, nice and easy. All the way down. Keeping our hands under our shoulders, we're gonna pull ourselves up. We have a little bit of a pelvic tilt going where we're tilting our pelvis down into the mat, so that way we don't have this grindiness in our lower back. So tucking under, using our back muscles to pull ourselves up, not our hands, so we can lift our hands if we want. Come back down, leaving our knees on the mat, we're gonna push up, push back, downward dog. I feel like I'm in downward dog. I feel like I'm a dog that's around water, where you put a dog over water and they just start paddling. I'm the same in downward dog. I just start paddling my hands. You put me there and I just start paddling. All right, left leg up behind, straight, and then bring it all the way forward, nice and controlled. Drop it between your hands or pull it up there if you need to. Notice the way you're stacked here, right? Make sure your knees over your ankle, your hips are square, your back leg is lifted and active, your spine is pretty straight, and we're gonna straighten out our front leg. It's really tight. Come back forward. Straighten it out. Go back forward. Straighten it out. Back forward. We're going to take a little bend in our back knee so we can push off. Bring our right foot forward. We are facing at the top of our mat, taking a little bend in the knees, and we're just forward folding. Hanging heavy. Letting our back get heavy and relaxed, our head get heavy and relaxed. Grabbing opposite elbows if you want, or walking your hands back and forth, getting some movement in our spine. Good. Come back to center in our forward fold. Left leg lifts up, steps all the way back. Low lunge, other side. And then right foot steps back. Downward dog. Nice, guys. Let's shift forward into plank. If you want to leave your knees up for the lowering down into chaturanga, you can. If not, lower your knees down either way, right? So we're either lowering down, full plank, or you can let your knees down and let yourself ease down easily, easier. No problem either way. This time, let's walk our hands out. They're in a Y position, right? Like kind of maybe 45 degrees, straight up. We're gonna go fingertips down, take a little bend in the elbows, so they're not all the way out, just a little bend here, and then we're gonna push up. Same thing, we're lifting with our chest, tucking our tail a little bit, coming back down. Go all the way wide, We're in arms in a T position. This is one of my favorite stretches for jiu-jitsu, but also just for people. We tend to be kind of curled out forward all the time, so it's nice to get these openings that is opposite of the kind of seated or fetal position. So we are teed out. We're gonna take our roll over on our right side, leaving our arm at perpendicular to our body, and we're stretching our anterior delt. This may be that you're right here. You can have your leg wherever you want, it doesn't matter. You'll feel the feel. It's right here. Just breathe through it. Enjoy it. Good, come back to center. Arms are teed out initially, but let's go ahead and go right back to that Y. Take a little bend in the elbows, fingertips are down, pushing up, using our back muscles. Heads up high, tail is tucked down, come back down. Arms teed out, we're gonna roll over the left side. Good, come back to center. We have our arms in a T. Let's go back to the Y, fingertips down, lifting up, nice and strong, head held high, tail tucked, and back down. Leaving our hands there, we're gonna bring them forward. Again, this activation of our backside is creating an opening in our front side. So I like to do that for the jiu-jitsuers and the people that are seated a lot. It's really good. So we have our arms out straight, Superman style, right? And we're gonna keep our feet, the tops of our feet are staying down on the mat. We're gonna lift up using our back muscles. Our shoulders are not up at our ears. We are bringing them down while our hands are forward. It's kind of tricky. And then we're gonna our arms are gonna be in a W. And then they're gonna be in a cape, flying back. Good. W. Back forward. All the way down. Good. Let's bend our legs up. We're not gonna lift all the way up and fly in this position today. We're just gonna get a little stretch in our quads. So let's reach back. Resting our head is fine. You can have your forehead down, your third eye down, and just pull on your feet a little bit. Tucking your tail at the same time, so your tail is tucking down, so it relieves this pressure here in your lower back. So grab your feet and just give them a little pull, stretch your quads a little, nothing fancy. Okay, come out of that, arms back in front, getting ready for our little Superman back sequence. So our shoulders are away from our ears, arms are straight out in front of us. We're gonna lift up. W, lift higher. Cape, lift higher even. Back to W. Forward. Awesome, all the way down, very good. Plant your hands under your shoulders, push back. Knees are a little bit wide, child's pose. Take a few deep breaths. Awesome. We're gonna come back up to tabletop, curl our toes under, push back, downward dog. We're gonna take it, lift our right leg, opening to the side. Right now I have both legs super straight, getting a nice long stretch through our side body and hip flexors. And then we're gonna bring your right leg all the way through like we did before, right foot between your hands, walk it up, grab it, pull it up, whatever you need to do. And then we're gonna drop our left foot, so that it's perpendicular to our front foot. Our front heel is aligned with our back arch. We're gonna windmill our arms all the way up. This is warrior two right here, basically, right? So in warrior two, our front hip, right now our right hip, kind of tucks under while our left hip pulls back. All the while this right knee is going back. There's a tendency to do this, right? Not good. So we're bringing our knees open. This hip comes under and this hip comes back. Arms are up. Our gaze is over our front hand. Nice and strong. It should be challenging, but you should be able to hold it for a little bit, right? So if this feels too easy, you just dip down a little lower. If you're dying and it's just, you're getting panicky, first of all, breathe. It's gonna be okay, but you can just come up a little bit. Okay. So take some deep breaths. Let your shoulders come away from your ears. Let your face relax. We're going to turn our right palm up towards the ceiling, drop our left hand so that it kind of tracks along our back leg, and we're going to sweep our right hand all the way up and over, reverse warrior. Good, and then we're going to come back forward. We're going to plant our forearm on our front quad, left hand shoots up and over, so we have this idea of a straight line from our left fingertips down to our left toes, left foot. Side angle. Good. From here, we're just gonna come forward, hands alongside our foot. We're gonna take our back knee and drop it down so that it's on the mat. And then we're gonna straighten out our right foot. You might need to adjust the distance. It may not be great for you. Whatever works. But we have our right leg straight, our left knee is under our left hip, and come up, so it's a little balancy, right? And we're going to have, our hands behind our head, and we're going to bow, like straight back bow. So hinging at the hips, coming down, ooh, good, and up. It's actually quite tricky. It doesn't look tricky. It's a balance, but it's also tight. There's a lot of tension in our behind our leg and then also in our lower back. Keeping our back straight, just go a little bit up and down. If this is not available to you, you can definitely find some blocks here and just enjoy just a stationary stretch, right? So you're not moving. But if you can, and you want to play with the balance of it, and you want to play with the movement of it, in and out, do about 5. Cool. Coming back down, I'm going to bring my foot up a little bit, just my alignment's off. Curling my left or my back toe under, lifting up, we're in low lunge. We're going to take our right foot, lift it up, step back, downward dog. We're going to lift our left leg up behind us, straight leg, open up to the side, like a big star. Our left leg is really straight and you're getting some opening in your hips. And then we're going to bring it all the way through, between our hands, low lunge. And then we're gonna windmill up. I'm gonna rotate sides here in just a second, but we're windmilling up, bringing our right leg perpendicular to our left. Let me rotate for you. So we were here, bring our right foot down perpendicular, windmill up, warrior two. Good. Left hip or front hip is tucking under, while the left knee or the front knee is going back. Right hip is pulling back. Gaze is over the left hand. Lifting through our head and spine and breathing. And finding the depth of our lunge that feels good for us. It feels challenging, where you're kind of pushing that boundary of, can I do this? I don't know, but I'm gonna try. It's a little bit scary, but not so much that you're hurting yourself or you're gonna collapse or what have you. Shoulders are down. We're gonna take our right hand down along our side, left hand turns up to the ceiling and sweeps back, stretching our left side body. Good, coming back up to warrior two. Left forearm is on our left quad, right hand shoots up and over, side angle. Again, we're tucking our left hip under, pulling our right hip back. Good. And then we're gonna, just in this moment, we're gonna turn down towards our left knee, rotate all the way down, low lunge, drop our right knee, straighten our left leg out, find a nice, good, stable position, because it's going to be that balance, right? So our right knee is under our right hip. Our left foot is just finding a nice, like solid, stable distance. And we're going to come up, right? My toes are curled under to give it a little extra grip. I'm going to have my hands behind my head. We started out, and I'm hinging forward a little bit. Ooh, entering the balance. Come up. Hinging forward. And up. If you want to grab your blocks, or you just want to come here and hang out in the stretch, that's good. But do about 5 or so on this side also. It's tricky. Good. So let's bring our left foot all the way down, kind of come forward. We're in this low lunge again. Step my left foot back, downward dog. Let's shift forward into plank. We're gonna lower down, nice and strong and stable. Head's kind of lifted, I have a tendency to let my head hang low. Bring your head up. Our chest kind of sits a little deeper in our shoulders. You can imagine you can do this exercise of lifting your chest up in and out of your shoulder space, right? So we're gonna do kind of in the middle, lower down, nice and slow, all the way down. Good. Push back, lifting our butts, spread our knees out a little bit, butt on the heels, child's pose. Just enjoy a moment of quiet while you're here. Good. Pushing up. We're in tabletop. Curling our toes under. We're gonna lift our knees off the mat a little bit, like an inch. Have this nice, strong, stable tabletop position. And if this is where you're at, stay here. If you wanna make it a little trickier, you can try to take one hand and touch the opposite shoulder, and back down. Opposite shoulder, back down. Good. Make sure you're breathing, don't hold your breath. Good, back down. Let's take, push back, keep your knees off the mat. Push back, get a little bit of a pouncy pose. Push, step up, feet by your hands. I'm gonna turn towards you, you can stay where you're at. So, we're here, right? We have our feet beside our hands. We just pounced up into this position. I'm gonna keep my elbows dug into my knees here, and I'm gonna let's actually walk our feet in a little narrower. We're gonna lean into our elbows and just enjoy a really strong butterfly stretch. So basically we're opening up our knees. It's not a balance, it's not particularly hard, other than it's tight. So let our elbows push on our butterfly, opening it up, lowering down, stretching our inner groin out. Come on up. Let's bring our knees together, leaving our toes right where they are. Well, they're both they're parallel and facing forward, but our toes are curled under. We're gonna bring our knees down and just sit back on our heels, stretching our toes in the bottom of our feet. So I'm facing this direction. My toes are curled, my knees are down, and I'm seated, stretching on my toes. We're gonna push off, bring our hands on and just kind of push ourselves back. So we roll over onto our butts. Let's do, so we're gonna do a little abs. Everybody loves some abs. We're gonna do kind of like a single butterfly sequence of abs. We're gonna bring our hands underneath and stay supported completely in our back, right? And then we're gonna lift our feet in a butterfly and go out, straight, and in. We're pulling kind of down in our belly button to engage our abs. Out, and in. If you want, you can have your hands up and up, all the way up. Move here. And all the way up. So my rule for abs is you do them until you feel like you're kind of gonna puke. And that's gonna be different for everybody. So a count is not really great. So we're here, or our hands are here, and we're just going out and low, and in, out and low, and in. Good. Come all the way up, feet in rather, lay back on our backs. Take a deep breath. Awesome. Cool. Feet are coming back together in this butterfly. Hands are behind our head. And we're gonna go same side, knee and elbow come together. So you can literally pull up with your hip and pull down with your elbow. Hip. And rather, it's more hip and shoulder as opposed to knee and elbow. So you're bringing these are where you're gonna touch first, but the sensation is pulling your hip and your armpit together. Okay, go side to side. Awesome. Lay your legs out. Shake out your hips. Get ready for this. Good. Take a deep breath. Let's bring our feet in, and they're maybe hip width, and we're gonna just windshield wiper back and forth. And then we'll land, let's say on the right side. Take our right foot and put it over our left knee. Undo our foot, put it back on the mat. Then we'll windshield wiper, back and forth, right? left side, taking our left foot, putting it on our right knee. Good, take your feet out. Let your hands be heavy and out, let your legs come down. If you'd like to keep going with this butterfly, if you feel like you have a little more in you of that, you can do that. You can let your knees come out, butterfly, or just let everything hang heavy. So this is Shavasana, the most loved pose in yoga. It's usually the last pose. And it's, I believe, corpse poses is the translation. So you are heavy as a corpse. What I like to do in Shavasana, if I just come out of a really hard session, I probably am not thinking about much and I'm just like a heavy lug and it just happens. But I often will be mentally a little bit active in it, in that I'll start at the bottom of my feet, my toes, my heels, and I'll feel how heavy they are hanging down into the mat or into the ground, into the earth. And I'll feel how the earth pushes back up into my body. And I'll go into my calves and notice how they feel. Do they feel tight? Are they heavy and happy and relaxed? And my knees. And if something feels a little funny, I might kind of wiggle it. Feel the tension there. See if I can let it get a little extra relaxation after activating it. Like activate it and then let it relax. Go to my quads, how do they feel? Hip flexors. Your root chakra, like your whole lower abdomen. Move up your tummy. You can take a deep breath in your tummy. Not hang heavier. Into your chest, your fingertips. Let them relax and your hands be heavy into the mat. Your elbows, shoulders. A lot of tension in your shoulders and your neck and your face. Let your eyeballs sink in the back of your head. Your tongue relax. And your ears kind of hang down into the mat. Even my hair, I can feel my hair kind of hanging off my head right now and pulling down into the mat. If you fell asleep, it's fine. Especially since you're at home. If you want to stay here, go ahead and stay here, take a nap, whatever you want to do. I'm gonna start wiggling my fingers and my toes, activating, getting a little more engaged breathing. Roll around. And then you can bring your feet up. And maybe go to the side first before you push yourself up, or maybe you like to kind of sling yourself up, or come to a seat, or stay. Alright, well, first round. Let's see how they go. Thank you so much for joining. I hope y'all are doing well in your isolation. I know it's a little bit uncomfortable, but you can still connect like we tried to, or we did at the beginning of class, and connect with what you have at home. There's so much, just being in your backyard and enjoying what's really beautiful weather right now, and your family. Life will come back to normal. We'll be back to being busy and up to our noses in stress and time constraints and everything else. So just enjoy the downtime. We all need it, and enjoy the time at home with your family and reading books or painting or whatever. And I hope to see you all very soon. Hands together. Namaste is just the light in me honors the light in you. So namaste. Thanks, guys.